you know, that was one hell of a story. One hell of a story. You know, I became a Tupac fan and uh, I would say about 93, 94 ish. Whenever Me Against the World came out, I became a huge Tupac fan. I was aware of Tupac with Thug Life, but I became a huge Tupac fan when Me Against the World came out. And for some reason, I like There's So Much Pressure in the Air. That was the song that I like. Uh, and Death Around the Corner, and it ain't easy. But So Much Pressure in the Air, that was the song that I always jammed and always bumped. Um, and then, you had the thing where Tupac went to jail. He spit on a camera in New York, the allegations about the rape charges. And then he came home on $1 million bill that he signed uh, with Suge Knight from a jail cell. And I didn't really knew about the New York story until Tupac told the story and put it in a perspective way of how friendship and what friendship's supposed to be. And so when you look at it from a perspective that Tupac literally lost his life at nothing but 25 years old, and the effects that he had on the music community, I mean, it was tremendous. To learn the Black Panther history, it's not a single person on this earth that Tupac name haven't came across. When you're talking about music, his name, he's known by all, you know. And the way that went down in Las Vegas that night, at the MGM Mike Tyson fight, it just went down completely wrong. And I say that to say that sometimes when you befriend people, sometimes you might befriend them more than they befriend you. And that what that was in the Tupac situation. Nobody wants to admit that Tupac befriended Biggie more than Biggie befriended him. Sometimes people are in your life for a season and a reason only. Now, what makes this even more crazy is that after Tupac dead, rumors, people saying the government, people saying because he was a Black Panther, and all those rumors sparked because what he did in Atlanta with the two polices that he seen beating on someone allegedly. All those rumors sparked after that. It's just the lifestyle that he lived. It was like nothing but media. It was like nothing but media surrounded everything that he done, his entire career, his entire life. And the shooting that happened at Quad Studio in New York, the robbery attempt, and the shooting that transpired afterwards, it was basically, like I said, Tupac befriending people more than they befriended him. Even with the night that he lost his life, he was befriending guys on the West Coast by going address Orlando Anderson over a chain that was apparently taken. And he went out, swung the first punch. They stomped out Orlando. Next thing you know, Tupac gets shot. He don't recover. He died. Orlando Brown is allegedly the shooter. Orlando Anderson, I'm sorry. Allegedly the shooter. That night, his uncle in jail for something. Uncle come home, tell a story that everybody been wanting to hear. People already knew, what transpired on the West Coast. People all over the other areas was assuming that it was them. They didn't know whether it was them or whether it was the government because of the night, how things went. Coming to find out, it was $1 million bounty on Tupac head, allegedly by Puff Daddy, by P. Diddy. Allegedly, Biggie is dead because when P. Diddy tried to pay the money, a guy named Zip, who was the middleman, did not pay them the money. And so at the end of the day, when you look at all this transpire, which it shouldn't have went down the way it went down, you talking about history being made that many people will be affected by. 27 years later, Keefe D gets arrested after doing multiple interviews. Vlad TV, Art of Dialogue, multiple interviews, basically telling his story about how Tupac was killed, Tupac final moments, and talking about how he shot Suge Knight in the head. And 27 years that literally arrest has been made in the Tupac murder. Some closure has been brought to the family. Now, Morphine, I can't even pronounce this guy's name. Morphine Shakur, he literally, Tupac brother. He been knew what happened. So did Suge Knight. So did everybody who was with Suge Knight. So all these individuals, they been knew what happened. And like I said, sometimes you could befriend someone more than they befriend you. This man been out of jail multiple couple of years now. Interview to interview, bragging. In other words, with regrets about what transpired that night. Tupac gone, Biggie gone. He turned all his attention to P. Diddy, saying he never received their money, that $1 million. Gene Deal, former bodyguard for P. Diddy, explained how he seen a check being handed to Zip. Somehow that Zip never got that money to Keefe D now. So yeah, is Puffy shaking? Yeah, because there's a story that resurfaced with his name in it. And there's a lot of crazy people. He's not gonna do one dime in jail because the middleman is dead. Zip is dead. So Keefe D's story won't hold no weight because no one can prove that $1 million was paid. But he's scared though, because it didn't resurface. The story, it had died down a little bit, but now it's resurfaced with his name back in it. And it's the cause of allegedly with Biggie dead by them guys not receiving their money. This is why Suge Knight said, if you catch the person that killed Tupac, you catch the person that killed Biggie. Literally, because the same individuals killed both of them. That night Pac died, we lost a legend with music. We lost a revolutionary guy who could communicate through his music with the youth. Tracy, he did claim that his nephew did it, but at the same time, in them interviews, he also said he passed his nephew the gun in the car that night for his nephew to do it. He said that he passed his nephew the gun. So when he passed the gun, that made him accessory to that night of what transpired. He had a proper agreement in Los Angeles, but that was only in Los Angeles. And then he lived in Las Vegas where the murder transpired that night. And he really was a big deal. Keefe D really was a big deal. Everything he said he was. Because guess what? Nobody ratted on him. Nobody avenged Tupac debt towards him. He put himself in jail with the interviews. That goes to show you how high of a profile case Tupac was, and nobody attempted to do Keefe D anything. So he said that he was the real deal back in the day. He was. Actions speak louder than words. You know, all the love that all those individuals get on interviews and they say they had for Tupac and this and that and this and this and that. All Tupac troubles came because he befriended those surrounding him more than they befriended him. And that's a man downfall in his world. Some guys befriend guys more than the other person befriend them, meaning that they get involved, they get caught up, they move a certain type way, and when things transpire, You thinking that person got your back, but all the while they was just there because of who you were and what you brought to the table. They were using you. This is why all men, fathers or mothers, it's an old saying that says that you don't have no friends because you never know who you befriending more than they befriending you. You never know, you know. Everybody deserves somebody when they go to a restaurant or something like that. That friend got that next tab. If you keep on paying over and over and over, you need to cut that leech off because you befriending that leech more than he befriending you. And that's the case in Tupac. He lost his life because he befriended those surrounding him in New York with Biggie. He befriended Biggie more than Biggie befriended him. This is why when he went to jail, Biggie didn't attempt to try to help get him out because Biggie ain't look at him like he looked at Biggie. See, Biggie was just trying to get in position with music. So he actually used Tupac to get to where he needed to be. And this is why Tupac felt some type of way about Biggie because when his eyes opened up, he was like, hey, you're not a real friend of mine. The things you're doing, the things you did, that's not real love. That's not real friendship. And so Tupac ultimately went to jail and it came out. He went to death row looking for that friendship because he felt like he was alone this time with Suge. And that friendship was fake also. He was he was a value. He was a dollar. He could bring in $1. And when things got real, yeah, they're gonna go beat somebody down with you because they don't expect the unthinkable. When he lost his life that night, Suge got shot in the head. All those individuals that was around them, surrounding them, putting in work for them, all those things, they disappeared. They might have had situations that happened right after that. That's because Suge Knight was still out and he was putting money in people's pockets. But when the money stopped, the love was gone. That's the Tupac story. Salute. Salute Tracy. Salute those who gonna watch this live. And I truly appreciate everybody. Salute.